Oh yeah, we're cooking. It's been a couple days, but we back like we never left. Okay, I think they told us to come back down. We don't need to leave because we're not at the peak of this next part of Tartarus, so I think we just go back in, right? I think we get everybody well rested and then we're good to go. I think we're pretty, yeah, I think that's good. And then maybe some snuff. I did not need to put that on Junpei. Whatever, it's fine. Let's go. Floor 80. We should be good. Let's keep moving. We're gonna get to the peak of Tartarus. Yeah, we already did us. We gotta go back through. Holy zigzag. Zigzag of doom. And then we gotta turn right here.
Shadow sighted. Initializing combat
No,
mode.
no. I want to get back to where I was. Move it, move it, move it. I think we got to like floor 80, 84, I think. So we get back there and then I think we're chilling. There's a gatekeeper on the next floor. What kind of shadow could it be this time?
Oh, there's a treasure chest.
Did I not get this chest before? Holy yen! I must not have gotten this before. Alright, well. Let's keep carrying on.
Dude, ain't that a rare chest?
Come on, baby. Hero's Knickers.
Hey,
Don't equip now. Let's take a look at it, see what it is. See what it is. No confused. That sounds really good. But I want Junpei to have as much. Hold on. Aegis? Can I not give her anything? Bro. Endurance, I guess? Bruh. Actually, I think we can put this on the main character. Yeah. And then I don't think we have anything for Yukari, so. Yeah. We just put this on you, a muscle shirt. Okay, we're kind of beefy now. And she has good evasion too. Yeah, this is good.
we got ourselves a shadow here.
It's just good micromanagement. This is how I make good builds in Deadlock. Because I play other types of games and understand the mechanics. I'm a mechanic.
Powerful enemy spotted. Please be careful.
What is that thing in the middle? 10 floors up from here, there's a border floor. It's coming up much sooner than it seems. Let's keep at it. Okay, so at floor 92. You better be I don't know if I need a teleport to set it, but I just be doing it, you feel me? I just be doing it just to make sure, like if I go through the animation, it has to have been done. You strong, please make sure you're ready for the fight. Bro, ain't nobody scared of these goobers. Are those eyeballs? Eliminating target. You gotta show. They're gonna be probably hard to hit.
I'm still setting up. In this situation, it'll take a little more time. It didn't work? Yukari cannot one down. I'm feeling good about this. Ready to switch in. You're up next.
Sky Overseer.
What's the plan?
What is the opposite of wind?
Wind isn't this one. You'll have to try something else.
It might be lightning, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna do this. Critical!
Not from Junpei-kun.
I'm ready to rock.
Then we'll put it to you, and then we'll try something that could potentially be another weakness to somebody else. Maybe fire. No! That just
You hit a
healed.
weakness.
Are you kidding?
Junpei-kun's down. Someone cover for him.
Holy!
Are you okay?
Let's just try to get one of them out of here.
My time to shine.
Get him out.
Finishing move.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Fire break. Please don't hit everybody.
I'm hit.
Fire resistance nullified.
Doesn't look good.
You're the only person that's weak.
Wind isn't good on this one. You'll have to try something else.
Arcane. Oh wait, probably ice. Mabufu. No. It blocks that one.
You hit a weakness. Detected. Oh no, this doesn't look good. Summoning. I'm still setting up. It'll take a little more time. I'll show you my power. Persona. Adjusting aim.
Are you?
One enemy knocked down my weakness. Leave it to me. Your
We
turn.
got it. You got to heal everybody.
What's next?
That you.
I'm still setting up. It'll take a little more time.
Wait.
Times like these call for this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're not dying today, bud. And then we'll hit. Hold on. You're next. Let's just do some damage to this dude.
Watch this.
Feel the wrath.
For real?
I'm so happy you only hit one target
Give
there.
him hell.
Should I stand on this enemy? Wind is the way to go.
What's next? Ah, yeah.
Here we go.
There's a knockdown.
Oh, what's up, Colton? This isn't Deadlock. Q5, go to the.
What are we waiting
It's
for?
3. Yeah, this is this is Persona 3. Oh, I need to change the category. Hold on. My bad. That's literally my bad. I need to change the category. Thank you for telling me that. L streamer, bro. Dude's been streaming since 2019 and doesn't remember that he has to switch the category. What a goober I am. I'm a goober. I'm just one of them goobs that be goobing all the time. Mad goobage. And then he goobled away. Gooble, gooble. And then he goobled away. Gooble, gooble. Then he goobled away. Until the very next day. Persona 3 reload. Let's go. There we go. Okay. I lost my train of thought.
Wind isn't good on this one.
Okay,
You'll have to try
I'm gonna
something
analyze you, bruh.
else. Analysis complete.
You're weak to absolutely nothing. Perfect.
What's the plan?
Well, you're already down, so I don't know if this will actually do anything. So, maybe let's do this.
Let's go.
Have you tried this split shot Cali build?
One
Cheat
fewer
code?
enemy.
Split
Keep it
shot?
up, Junpei-kun.
I have not tried split
Damage
shot.
inflicted.
Split shot.
Yuji.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can use it now.
Oh yeah. After lobby tries. Oh no no no. This shot was damn serious. I'm not doing that. Okay, that was horrendous.
Fire won't work. Be careful. You can hit a weakness with this.
Naga.
Naga!
That's it. Enemy down.
Go with. Never mind what to do. I'll go with.
High chance of distress. Oh yeah, that's good.
Summoning. We've already scanned this one. It is time.
We'll just go ahead and do this.
Persona.
Persona! I don't want to play a build like that. That doesn't seem right.
Let's commence with an offense.
Okay, and then
Maximum firepower.
we're gonna try to distress again. No death.
Did I scan on this enemy? You have a skill that can hit
Wait, I can do
weakness.
both. Wait, hold on.
Wind isn't good on this one.
Okay,
This
we're not
situation.
gonna
Try something
win
else.
both of them.
Time to
Just
jump.
gonna win two. That's really good. And then we're gonna bring it back to her.
Orders received.
And then she's gonna
I'll show you
use
my
her
power.
theurgy to hurt some people. And then we go to Junpei.
Automation mode.
Bazinga Bazinga. Where she got removed from from Calico.
Will you prove worthy?
Really? Oh, attack up. Let's just reduce that. Hold them with the follow. Welcome to the Akatsuki. Thank you, bro.
I got this.
Do you have a clip of that, Colton?
What's next?
I'm down to see it.
What's the plan?
Yeah, that did no damage.
Naga.
Naga! Alright, show me something.
Palladium.
Heck yeah, she's just hitting crits for free.
No shadows detected.
Holy! 16 billion XP. With the acquisition of the Vibrant Feather, you can now fuse Mothman. Vibrant Feather? The winged monstrosity of myth. Interesting. Everybody's level 30 now. Perfecto. Still more power than I had before. Power's grown now up to 12 slots. Holy. Holy.
This I can fight even
Sonic cannot learn any more skills. Please choose one to forget. Negate wind resistance of all foes for 3 turns. I think maybe we get rid of this one. I mean, this seems like it could be good. Yeah, I'm getting rid. Really haven't used this entire time because I have items. Okay, well now there's a Mipatra. To all ally. Okay, I will put this over Windbreak because that's all ally. That's actually really good.
I have learned a new skill.
Holy skills! Deals medium pierce damage to one foe. One foe. More damage to downed foe. Cruel attack. That sounds phenomenal.
Hell yeah!
Buddha Man, I guess you weren't too shabby either. Keep up the good work, bud. Oh, gee, thanks.
That's right.
Remember, my dude, in times like these, teamwork is key. All right, let's roll. Man, I miss playing this game. It's such a vibe. That's a chill little vibe. We got 10 more floors and then we're chilling. Chilling like a
Yo,
villain.
check out that fancy check.
Water. Ew, water. Slugger's jacket. Plus 40 HP. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what that's looking like. I mean, it's really only one strength, bro. Should I give it to him? It might just be the move. I guess we'll give him the HP benefit. We're now down a little bit in damage. It's okay. This is the clip. You won't be able to hear it, though. Yo. Wait, why are you even the bombs don't do minus gun resistance, do they? That like I'm not gonna lie, bro. Her gun should not be the main point of her build. It should be her 2. Or her 1. Or her ultimates. Not her gun. What the heck? That is so stupid. Int mag. That is ridiculous, bro. Exactly. Remove split. Yeah, she did not need that. No, reduce the scaling on the gun. Make the scaling of the 2 go up. And then probably make the scaling of the ultimate or 1 also go up. Probably old. I feel like the 1 should be a debuff mechanic. I feel like it should be like a stacking type of thing since you shoot out so many of them. It shouldn't be like a blow up thing.
Great.
Sounds like a terrible idea, to be honest. Which one? What sounds like a terrible idea? What part? I think what I just said, why would you want her to scale better? Well, just because Apollo and Mina have good scaling in at least one category.
Yeah, makes sense.
But Calico has
we
like...
just have to get stronger too.
Makes one... It's no, 1 or 2 or 4 scale better.
Do your best to take
I don't know
it
if
down.
we're actually going to be able to do any damage.
It's a strong one. Be on your guard.
I'll go with
Come.
Or...
What next? I won't lose.
When resist nullified.
What is optimal?
Behind my bound.
Persona.
Okay, Hyper P4 remake. Yes, I am. That's the main reason I started playing this game. I only played Golden for the first time like 3 years ago. Yeah, I've never played Persona 3 or 4 before this, and now we're going crazy with it. Is there like a water type ability?
to do.
We went 2 times right there. Come on, work. You know, I've done that so many times and it hasn't worked at all, ever. It hasn't worked at all, ever.
First, I knocked down 2 enemies.
Yeah, do some damage. Did you play Metaphor? No, I didn't play Metaphor, but my bud was like, dude, it's so good. But I just don't see how it could be better than
2 enemies defeated.
like, I just feel like Persona is just the better like vibe.
Summoning. Persona, engage.
Different.
I'll get it next time.
That how does that miss? Yeah, whatever.
That about does it.
Nothing
No
works.
stats detected.
You gotta use your theurgy against those dudes. No reason to compare the two.
Goodbye.
Well, I mean, the reason is that I would never play Metaphor because I'd rather just play a Persona game. I'm counting on you. I would rather just play a Persona game than play Metaphor. Because I like the how Persona music is. Like, Metaphor's music is not as good. And yeah, that's probably that's like the main part about it. I'm running. But you're right. I mean, sometimes you shouldn't compare things. Give it to me. But I think about me. I'm always comparing like what I like or not don't like about things. You ever wonder? I mean, given how heavy this place would be, whether or not it will topple over. Then again, it doesn't seem different from your typical building. Probably no use worrying. Hopefully. Is that foreshadowing? You never played it? I did watch it though. Holy!
Now's the time.
Fairs. Hashtag fairs. Ooh!
Activating.
Activating. Disturbing the feed. Looking to my line. Critical, baby. And then we're gonna do the cruel attack, which it really hurt. Oh my god! What the fuck was that? Yo!
Strike attacks are no good here. Be careful.
Alright.
Let's see.
Alright. Persona 4 got the best songs? You think Persona 4 has better songs? Let's just see if it says anything. I don't think it will. Oh, it did.
That's a win for the team.
I thought he had
Good job, everyone.
100%. Okay, this Persona 4. Wait. Color Your Night? Okay. There's no way Persona 4 has better songs than Color Your Night. Well, okay, Persona 5 has better music overall, but Color Your Night and It's Going Down are just really fun. 4, 5, really? I think you may be the first person I've ever seen say that Persona 5 was better than Persona 3 at all. For whatever reason, people glaze Persona 3. I feel like Persona 3 isn't all that. I feel like it's not all that. I probably also shouldn't have got that.
Okay,
But like,
let's keep
you
on
XP,
exploring.
you level up the most from the big bosses. People be glazing 3. I mean, this is my first time playing it, no spoilers, but I'm not seeing why this game would be better than Persona 5. But people think this game's better than Persona 5, which is
Treasure
baffling
chest
to me.
identified. Will you?
4 and 5, I couldn't get off. I literally stopped playing. You stopped playing Persona 3, but you couldn't stop playing Persona. Oh wait, dang, there was a door on that floor. Whatever, it's fine. Okay, well we're gonna have this problem again. No, 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 no. Bruh.
All right, squad, move out.
Ridiculous.
Hey, there's...
Okay, that's good. That's good. Teleporter. Actually moving right along.
Yo, there's a shadow.
No, no, no. Wait, we can go this way. We could just do that.
Down the stairs.
Okay. But you think Persona 4 has better music than 5?
Oh, there's a treasure chest.
Okay. I'm hearing what you're saying. But I feel like
Everyone,
begging to differ might be something that I'm going to be doing. I mean, just how many of those am I gonna get? Yo, can I put that on anybody else? I already have it. Oh, can't put it on you. Can't put anything on her. Shadow World clear. Shadow World? I've never heard that one. Yeah, I'm running out of Twilights. I kind of want to put this one on, I kind of want to put this one on Aegis. She going crazy with her cruel attack. I think I might rather her have extra damage now than Junpei. Like, both of them are useful. So you don't even know. I've never played 4. Shadow World? Is that a 4-1? I've never played that one. What are we talking about? I'm not LARPing. Come on, I swear. No. Oh my god. I got caught.
Whoa, where'd they come from?
I'm happy you guys are going for the only person. And there it is.
her leader's been knocked down. Operation.
Oh, I forgot she had no
Taken
HP.
half the damage.
Perfect.
I'm still setting up. It'll take a little more time. I have to do this.
Thought you said this is the only one you haven't played? No, I haven't played 3 or 4. I played 5.
Activating. Palladium, move out. The enemy was unaffected.
Ooh, damn. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba.
This is mine.
See you later, bubs. That's so much damage!
Enemy eliminated. I'm still setting up. It'll take a little more time.
Ooh, yeah. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I mean, we just set it.
Shall I take
We
charge?
just set it back to you,
Handle it.
and then you go stupid with it.
Show you my power.
Palladium.
Revising tactical approach.
Wait, how do you block that attack? Doesn't make sense.
You're in bad shape. You need to recover before you get hit.
Man, whatever.
Should I scan on this enemy? It's weak to piercing. Try arrows or bullets. Yes. Exceptional strike. I hope you're ready.
I guess. Cadenza's such a cheat ability. Cadenza? Is that in this game? I don't think I know Cadenza. Ufula! Oh!
Dodged it.
Come on! Get him out of here. Let's pack him up. It's actually true. It actually. I've never had Condensa on any of my characters. I've never had that one. I've never had that one.
Ass, huh?
Hey, bro, maybe you just know more than me about this guy. I don't have anything like that. I don't got. Wait, hold it. Your main guy gets it. I'm level 30, but I haven't got. I can morph like a lot of characters. I just don't know how to do them. Oh, I forgot. This is a good one. I need to use this one more. But I don't have Cadenza, the OG persona you get. Oh, no. I got rid of him. I'm a LARPer. I didn't keep him. I know, like, you max him out and then he's, like, superb. Probably. That's how Persona 5 was, but... Yeah, I just didn't do it. Oh! I'm not even gonna fight this dude. I'm not gonna waste my maxes to kill that dude. I'm not doing it. Oh. You can't make me.
Oh, another one of those doors?
Okay. What's up, bro? I'm watching Shippuden right now. Why you remind me of the MC? Naruto. How do I remind you of Naruto, bro? Wait, didn't you tell me this? Somebody told me this like literally last week.
Hell yeah!
That's crazy. Bro, Naruto's my favorite anime, bro. Of course, I have a little bit of Naruto in me. Lao? Who the heck is Lao? Oh, you're trying to say Lamau. Oh. Holy.
There's one enemy.
This gotta be the easiest enemy of all time.
Now's the time.
You kind of look like Naruto.
It didn't work?
We're just LARPing.
Too easy.
Ooh! I thought I was about to get really upset with some bull. Wait, what do you do? Man, how did we not know what you just did? Oh wait, I can do this. Yeah, you're going down, bud. Okay.
Activating.
Same goes for you. Ooh yeah, ba ba da ba 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 ba, baby baby, ba da ba 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 da ba ba. Ooh yeah, ba da ba 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 da ba ba.
In this situation.
Okay, miss your shot, please. Chanting a death spell.
What are we
Can I
waiting
scan on
for?
this enemy? Okay, here's what I
You're
found.
weak to it. Oh, I should have went to. Well, I don't think I can actually control it right now. What a lame attack.
What next?
I don't know why I used that one. The other one did more damage. GG, it's not GG. We literally are not gonna die here. We're literally not gonna die here.
Here, G. I think I can use it now.
Baby, baby. You wanna know why? Because I put I lowered his accuracy, so of course he's gonna miss. And now that is all she Erosa! Critical, baby.
Does it?
Nothing on
No
us.
shadows detected.
Didn't really get much from that.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Another Nihil blade. Amethyst. Okay, let's get up. Go ahead and skip that on out. And the floor above. Okay, that's good. Run. Very good. Wait, what part are you in Naruto, bro? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, there's a treasure chest.
We got like four more floors, and then we out of this. Dang, there's a lot here.
I forgot my
This
gym
is a
uniform the other day.
Big
so I borrowed
freaking
Puka's.
map.
She's a lifesaver.
Well, next time you forget, I can lend you mine. What? You don't need it?
Of course, of
Could
course.
be in for one nasty fight.
Now just go ahead and get him out. Attack mirror. Do this again. Come around the bend. And then blammo. Then we come down this way and then we're chilling. I think. Yes.
Is that treasure?
Ooh.
Treasure chest.
Ooh. Very good, very good.
Shadow sighted. Initializing combat mode.
No, we're good off of that. We're just trying to get to the max floor. Get to the border floor. Are any enemies here? That's really, but I have an uneasy feeling about ahead. About turning back for now. Uneasy feeling. Okay, well, let's go back and save. How many subs for Aegis cosplay? How much does an Aegis cosplay cost? However many subs it would take to get that cosplay times 2. That's how much it would take. Or wants me to wear a bodysuit of robot. I'd do it. Once I get to 10,000 followers, bro, then we're cooking.
Powerful enemy spotted. Please be careful.
We go. Ooh, let me heal. Let me heal. For 200 HP. Oh, Fuka ain't got nothing. Alright, we're good. At 10,000, you'll be a partner plus more. True. So it's gonna be a lot more subs by then. So the enemy's strong. Let's go. But that's what I said. Next subathon's once I get to 10K. Entering combat, come and get it, as they say. Later.
Two enemies.
Show you what I
Watch
got.
out. They're strong.
Did we not fight that dude already? Bruh.
Have to do this. Come Persona.
Hey, yeah, you're confused. Nice.
What's the plan?
Of course that missed.
I'll show you my power. This is my duty. one. Be on your guard.
Ah!
That's an enemy down.
It's all you.
Taking action.
Give him that cool attack and the cool attack. You about to feel this. Thank you for the like on TikTok. Okay, I was hoping for a lot more damage.
In this situation,
Let's go ahead and do this to you as well.
it didn't work.
Nice. This dude is buffing the hell out of this stuff.
That's a knockdown from Junpei-kun. Analysis complete.
What's the plan?
It is time. This is my duty. I'll get it next time.
That miss, perfect.
What to do? I'll go with.
Ooh. Nothing? Okay, well, he's about to probably hurt us, I'm not gonna lie. Alright. Alright.
Give him hell.
Well, hopefully we can do something before he decides to
That's a knockdown from
go
Junpei-kun.
crazy.
Persona.
Hopefully. That'd be a good idea.
One fewer enemy. I'll show you my power. Junpei-kun. Persona, engage.
Just go ahead and raise your defense, because if you die, it's all over. And then... Do I try charming? '21 strength. Oh!
Yes! This is your chance for an all-out attack! Leave it to me!
It's all you.
Do it, girl!
Let's summon it! Let's finish this! Persona!
Please do damage. Woo!
Nice, I guess! That hit their vitals!
Pull the trigger.
Let's lower your accuracy a little bit. Okay. Please don't kill my entire team.
Everyone fight! Huh? Leader, say something, please! I'll start preparing the analysis.
Absolutely annoying.
Focus. In this situation, I won't lose.
detected.
Let's see. Alright! Persona!
That's it! Enemy down!
Let's keep it rolling! I'll give them hell. Let's go!
Activating. Blaze. Move out.
The damage is not looking good.
Junpei-kun, your attack power's fallen. Persona.
25 damage. Why are we doing no damage to them?
I'm hit.
What's next? Suck on that!
That's it! Enemy down!
Fire substitution!
Your speed's down. That'll impact your accuracy and evasion.
You need a debuff remover. This is not looking good.
Persona!
Triple weapon!
Now's the time.
Some fun! Persona! I'm hit! Careful, Junpei-kun! Your defense is low!
I'll give them hell. Let's do this! Persona!
There's a knockdown from
Go for
Junpei-kun!
it!
Your defense is low! Yukari-chan, watch out! Your defense is falling! My power! Persona, engage!
Pull the trigger.
I won't lose!
This is like the most I can do, really. How are you missing that big ass target? That's what I'm talking about, bruh.
Can't stop it now. Alright! Persona!
That's a knockdown from Junpei-kun!
Ready to switch in.
Like it! Do your
Can
thing!
we get a critical? Can we get a critical strike, please?
Palladium!
Like some type of crit. Of course not. That wouldn't make any sense.
Multiple team members are out of commission!
Oh wait, hold on. Did you hit some 4.8 spike? Nope, I don't think I
The
did.
enemy's turn is coming up!
To do this.
Heal now while you still can! Help me! Eno!
I need you back in the game. Attack down.
Yukari-chan,
Oh, he's
your attack
exhausted.
power's been reduced.
Oh, yeah.
There.
I still got some fight in me.
Watch out. Your attack power's low.
Pull the trigger.
Let's just heal everybody up real quick.
Never lame out.
Yukari-chan, your attack
Let's
power's been
see.
reduced.
Swing and a miss.
And now he's charging back up again. Holy.
I'll go with. Never mind.
Almighty damage. Okay, I don't really think that did a whole lot for me. Oh, here we go.
Let's end this. Just one more. Take that.
70 damage.
Let's knock this out of the park. I'll give him hell.
I've got it.
Screw that up.
Okay, and now let's remove, nullify all of the stuff. Okay, that won't work.
What's the plan?
We gotta kill this dude. Get any turns? Can I hit? No. What the heck? Back up. And something.
Her leader took one out.
Okay,
What next?
now
There's Sona.
lower your accuracy. Can I QSU and watch your resistance? No.
Careful, Jinbei-kun. Your defense is low.
I need you to not die. Fully charged.
I'll go with. Hi, Pixie!
Can I charm you, please?
Her speed's been lowered. Be
I have to
careful.
do this.
Listen, maybe we don't all die with this second one.
Thanks.
That was close. Let's see.
About to go crazy. We're gonna have to revive everybody. Oh, I missed! No, but I died! No, I died! Okay. Right. Okay, we can make this work.
Entering
I
combat.
don't know exactly how, but this could work. This literally could
What
work.
should I do? Pull the trigger.
Let's get you out of here real quick. Lock it. I'm trying. 76 damage.
Man, I'm hit.
Oh, I think I know what I need to do, actually.
Let's do this! Persona!
Wow, good job.
What's next? Timing!
Hikari-chan, I'll show you my power. Been reduced.
I need you to die. That is no damage. Okay. Can I get him out of here, please? Of course it misses! And he's on the ground. Yeah, that ability pisses me off.
I'll give him hell. I'm using this.
Lock in.
It is time. This is my duty.
89 damage.
I'll go with.
I don't have anything that like weakens them.
Well executed.
I can handle it.
It's all you.
I need you to hurt this mother trucker.
I'll show you my power. Persona.
153, holy.
In this situation, Persona.
50 damage. Nice.
Let's see. Timing! Go!
116. All right.
It is time.
Raise your defense.
What to do?
I don't even know what type of damage that is. I think we gotta go with this one.
All right.
And then I got a guard.
Now's the time.
I won't
You gotta lower your accuracy.
Can't stop me now. Now's my chance.
Thank you very
That
much.
was the wrong item.
No, Yukari-chan.
Wait, somebody was resistant to that.
Situation under analysis. For me?
Wait, I think I was resistant to that. Which is really freaking good, because now it means I can potentially actually F people up right now.
Persona.
Here we go.
That's the wrong dude. And now you've recovered. Nice!
Abnormality detected.
I'll give him hell. Go for it, honey.
Okay, I need you to die. Then I'm gonna revive her.
Very good. Fewer enemies. Keep it up, Junpei-kun.
And then she can heal us all repeatedly.
I owe you one.
And then we all guard it next time. Attack reverted. Everything's reverted. Now we can potentially kill this dude.
What is optimal? This is my duty.
Let's raise your attack power. I should have nulled everything, actually. Whatever.
No joking.
Last one. I got to do this. Eo.
Hey, lock in.
What's the plan?
Now you're gonna feel my wrath.
Suck on that.
Oh, now he's starting to go. We got 3 turns.
It is time. Persona, engage.
29 damage.
I'll go with.
Come.
What next? I won't lose.
What's next?
Let's go! W Junpei, bruh. Okay, I think we win this.
Activating. Persona.
What to do?
We just get the Junpei and then we freaking win.
No joking.
Pull the trigger.
Go ahead and heal everybody up just in case. Actually, you know what? No. We're gonna confirm by getting them as low as humanly possible. Okay, we're good.
It's a win for the team.
Oh, they. What an annoying fight. Ooh. Oh, Rebellion! Oh, this is gonna be so good. Yeah, get this out of here. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. What's wrong, Junpei? Something on your mind? Nah, it's nothing. Just, you know, those shadows with books on their edge. Like the one we fought just now, what's even written inside that book? Oh, I was wondering the same thing. We'll catch glimpses from it time to time, but it's hard to tell while fighting. Right? I mean, I don't give a crap about the words, but are there any photo collection of pretty models like in manga magazines that, yo, what? Yeah, let's just continue on like we didn't hear nothing. Okay, that was the hardest fight that I've ever had.
Hey, there's a treasure chest.
And it's probably just because I have Junpei and Aigis on my team. They probably shouldn't both be on my team. Or I need Aigis to level up and get better.
Powerful enemy spotted. Please be careful. Just stay calm.
That should be good. Let's go. Let's go. This is gonna be easier than the last one, I'm pretty sure. So the left one's probably gonna be null to ice. So we're gonna use fire.
What next? In this situation, help me!
Come on. Nice. Okay.
Eat this, bluff. And take that.
That's no damage, bro.
I'll
You need
show
to
you
level
my power.
way up.
Persona!
Ah!
Not enjoyable! One enemy knocked out my item!
Orgia mode.
Formation mode!
I feel like this mode isn't even that good on it.
Direct hit on a weakness.
I'll go with.
Amazing, I guess.
Oh, wait.
Slashing won't work. Don't bother with swords.
What to do?
I gotta do...
Just let's see.
Come.
Okay.
Now's the time. Eo!
Debuff. Oh, there it is. You barely took any damage.
Can't stop me now.
Well, it don't even matter. If you're weak to this,
That's a knockdown from Junpei.
and then we're gonna use this one on you. Are you?
Palladium. Direct hit on a weakness. Amazing, I guess.
Scan him! Scan him! Scan him! Why is my scan not working?
Analysis complete.
Nah.
I'll go with.
No charm.
In this situation,
Oh, they're pissing me off.
not like this. Hikari-chan! She's gonna click out of the fight! Follow up! One enemy knocked down by Aigo!
Ole.
Direct hit on a weakness! Amazing, I guess!
Here we go.
Come on, Yukari, you gotta revive. That's some
I
bull.
know you won. Pull the trigger.
Reform!
Not over yet.
And round 2. I'm resistant to that. Defense up, holy.
Jimmykin!
What's the
Time to
plan?
strike back!
Get the hell out of here!
We're gonna miss.
I'll get it next time. Over. He did. Here,
Yeah.
I think I can use it
Please,
now.
help me! Yes! Ridiculous. We gotta kill at least one of them now. Of course not. That would make way too much sense for that to work.
Yukari-chan knocked one down. Pull the trigger. Eo! Damage inflicted. Oh no! You've got to get up somehow! Huh? Leader, say something, please!
Just like, holy shit. This is so annoying.
I have to do this. Pull the trigger. Have fun, Persona!
What's next?
It's gonna reflect. I think it is, but whatever. Wait a minute.
Summoning! Palladium! One enemy knocked down by Aegis!
No.
I'll show you my power! Palladium!
We gotta kill one of them and then we can do the other thing.
Amazing, Aegis!
High kick.
We're just gonna keep using this until we get something going. This is ridiculous.
You struck a weakness! Next? I won't lose!
Negate the wind resistance so I can do damage. Perfect.
My power's going nuts! Can't stop me now. Let's go!
That's it! Enemy down!
Just like that. We're gonna hurt you, bro. We gotta get you off the playing field.
Finishing move!
Yes.
Summoning! Palladium, move out! Direct hit on a weakness! Amazing, I guess!
Know what to do.
High pixie!
No charm.
Pull the trigger!
I got no items that are
Do
good.
this. Fire won't work! Be careful! Pull the trigger! Ew!
I need you to hurt. 87 damage.
Let's see. Suck on that!
That's a knockout from Junpei-kun! Give them my strength.
Give me something good. Evasion
Now!
and healing, maybe.
Thank you for your support.
That's cool.
I'm ready!
Like, do
I
your
will
thing!
handle it. It is time. Persona!
Persona.
Direct hit!
And we're gonna do it again. Get out of here.
Target destroyed. That's it, I guess.
Never mind.
Go down, bro. Just get out of here.
Yes!
Get ready.
Easy claps.
Ammunition loaded. Weapons free.
200 damage.
What next?
2 badillion damage.
I won't lose.
Oh, you're grieving now.
Stop me now!
Oh, you're grieving now. Oh, that's what's happening. You're grieving. Man, that's go crazy.
Ready to engage.
Go crazy on him.
Gia activated.
Get him out of here.
Last one. Let's finish this.
Persona.
Oh, yeah. Get him out of here.
All right.
You're done.
Here I go.
Have to do this fight 2 times. You have to just kept healing each other and whatnot.
And with this,
Pissing me off.
you're finished.
Out of here.
That about does it. No shadows detected.
Woo! We keep you leveling up like crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
I think I'm getting stronger.
I think we put this here.
Da-da-da-da! Junpei has leveled up!
Do I like this move? I mean, we don't have it yet, so I guess it's fine.
Greetings.
Enemy shadow annihilated. You possess superlative decision-making skills, Ace. You did great, Aegis. Yo, how goes the
Thank you
dungeon
very
crawling?
much.
I just had two very annoying bosses back to back. They kept buffing each other, and then I kept getting insta-killed. Or like, chain CC'd. Sounds about right. Thank you, the battle was easy peasy, let me squeeze you, as they say. Welcome to early Persona, son. Does it get better? Does it get better?
Oh.
Good question. In one of those doors, but this one isn't shining like the others. It feels different too. This is a structure Elizabeth referred to as not dissimilar to the others. I should probably check this door. So we take a look at this one. Let's check it out. Alright, let's take a look. That was a good stretch. That was a really good stretch. Let's see what's in here. Major Arcana card. I think this was like if I would have left and then came back, I would have to fight things over and then come back here. But why all of a sudden did you do something, leader? Major Arcana card. Was out swapping my friend's CPU and his PC and just got home to see you streaming. Good ass day. Yo, W friend. W friend helping your friend with the CPU. I was playing Deadlock earlier with Fat Cuck, but he went to take a shower, so I got off. But you know, today's the variety day anyways. But I just wanted to play with him a little bit because he messaged me about it. And this door certainly works differently from the ones I've seen. Okay. Elliot basically built him a PC for free with my old parts after every upgrade. Hey, W friend indeed. Holy. Middle Shadow resides in the innermost area, and beyond it lies a treasure chest holding a valuable item. But this item, Del Roxas, is this worth doing? Entries of the Monad Passage remain permanently on the same floor in the same location even after the turn of a new day. Feel outmatched, consider revisiting after training to them. It's worth it. And yesterday too, the PC's mount. The old one I upgraded from yesterday, and the previous CPU was the same way. These give good things at the end. It says anything from immediate sense. There might be a strong enemy further, just like other doors. Feel like you're in danger, please leave quickly. Final one leads to a secret boss. Better be some easy enemies, bro. I ain't got the time for all this. Another door. Hey, let's go down. We keep going. Not even. I managed to beat it super hard. saying super hard, that means I need to save the game. I haven't saved the game because they wanted me to come right in here. They probably wanted to piss me off and make me do all this again. So I'd have to fight those bosses again. Secret boss, but yes, saving is important. I'm gonna save, bruh.
This is...
Okay, we made progress. The head researcher came to try and convince me. I was surprised he was my old mentor. Whenever I remember his timid smile, my resolve wavers. Storytelling. Okay, we'll come back on a different day. We've been grinding this mad days in a row.
Good day.
Good day.
Here are my requests. Let's hear the results.
Hallelujah.
Very well.
All right, let's enter here and see what we can get.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Man, stretching feels really good right now. Yeah, was playing Deadlock and was getting washed while trying new characters. If you're gonna try new characters, you should probably do it on alt account.
Registering, I see. Is overwriting except I've completed registration. Now,
Fusion!
Have you all the elements you need?
Black Frost. Ah. 34, I can't even fuse them
Which
yet, I don't think.
will you choose? Well then, shall we take a look?
this would be a wise choice.
I was, and you were still getting cooked. Hallelujah. I got tired of getting run down due to other lanes losing tower in the first 3 minutes. So as soon as I went Calico, I ran the W run in the lobby.
This persona is powerful.
And closer to a new moon. What the heck? I mean, that just seems pretty good.
This persona, yes? This persona, yes? This persona is powerful. This would be a wise choice. This would be a wise choice. This would be a wise choice.
Oh, I can get him out of here. And this guy. I haven't used either of these dudes. Okay, but which one's better?
This would be a wise choice.
This one looks like it might be 27? That one looks really good.
This persona is powerful.
I need to take him as a
This
good
would be a
dude.
wise choice. Please choose what skills to inherit.
It appears it will receive a large amount of power.
Well, let's do it. Which?
It appears it will receive a large amount of power.
Yes, that one's better.
Well.
Give it to me. I don't care about your mission. Just give me your power. Holy. Holy. Automatically? Okay, I shouldn't have got this then. What? Yo, this dude's broken. A revolution, the double-edged sword. Nah, but it don't matter because my entire Junpei and freaking Aigis. Nah, we're going crazy. Huh? No, 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 no. King Frost! I can make King Frost.
This power might be too much for you.
Fuck! Mama Falulaba! Wait, I need this guy. Mama Galabaka! And then I can get Black Frost after King Frost. Holy!
Is this acceptable? Is this acceptable? Is this acceptable?
No, none of these are acceptable. I need to reorder, whatever
This
that.
is your
What's his
progress
name
so
that I
far.
just had, that I just used? You, buddy.
Please, is this acceptable? There
Yes.
you go. It's yours.
And then fusion.
I too. What kind of persona?
This would be a wise choice.
I mean, do I really need you guys anymore? I don't need you whenever I just got that other dude. But Rebellion goes crazy. Wait, Rebellion? Yes. Oh. Well, actually, this doesn't matter because of the other guy as well. Yeah. Okay, well.
Please choose what skills to inherit.
Black Frost is fire. Okay, I need to get Black Frost. I need to level up first, though.
It seems no new powers have been bestowed upon you.
I think I actually ran him all the way to the end. Black Frost. Wait, should I get Rebellion even though I got that double-edged sword on the other dude? So you think Rebellion is that worth? I'd probably get rid of like Sukugaja. What do you think, Roxas? Feedback. Just a single version of Revolution. Alright.
Well then, shall we begin?
Yeah, the bafflement. Only targets one person if you're choosing, not the entire battle. Let's go. Let's freaking get it.
This power might be too much for you.
Holy. Wait, I should have got the electricity thing actually.
You can't control this one yet. This would be a wise choice.
Don't worry, we'll get King Frost here in a bit.
Which? It is a special persona you desire, is it not?
Please take a look.
Is there a way for me to look at my personas in here?
Please take a look.
I have Jack-o'-lantern, I got Jack Frost. I think those last two just weren't really that important.
This persona, yes?
I mean, I think she would be good to have, actually.
Is this acceptable? Very well, it's yours.
Just in case she dies, I can bring people back.
This persona, yes?
Nah. Nah. I think we're good. I still have her?
Please take a look.
No. Off of my screen, bro. Okay, nah, I don't think I need anybody else, to be honest.
Are you finished?
I'm done. Next time we get King Frost, we level up. And then we'll get Black Frost, because we can. Oh! King Frost and Black Frost. And I don't know if we'll need Jack-o'-lantern anymore. I don't think we will. Level 32, baby.
Oh, help.
Get me out. We're done. We got 2 weeks into the next full moon. I think we're pretty big. I think we're pretty tough. We're pretty ready. We'll probably come back right before to go down that area for all the very strong stuff. We're still tomorrow. It's prime time for the beach side. You know, I bet other guys would kill to be in our shit. We're staying in the same dorm as 3 Super 2 girls. You think so, too, right? Yeah, totally. But if you want to be more than friends, you got a lot of work ahead of you. You reach Yoda Senpai's top of class and city council president, you'd have to be an uber nerd for her to even give you the time of day. Yukatan's pretty popular too. You gotta be as styling as she is to be a good match. Fuka is well soft-spoken and kind of hard to grasp, so you might need to take the initiative with her, I guess. Anyways, keep this hush-hush between us, alright? Yeah, I got you.
I guess we'll get started.
Can I fall asleep? Holy yappy! I was never reading that. Oh my gosh. Yo, anytime it's this dude, I'm never reading anything. Close your eyes. What? I'm never reading anything that dude's got to say. What the hell?
Hey,
Do you have a minute?
About the track team. Since you just transferred, you probably haven't heard about the Mio Cup, right? Well, let me tell you. On August 2nd, there's a major competition for track and field. There's this guy named Hayase. total speed demon. We can't let him trounce us this year. Got high hopes for you, so get ready to train hard. I'm gonna need you to show up from July 27th to August 1st. Don't go skipping school now. Got a special training regimen in mind for you. ISA won't stand a chance. Competition's on August 2nd. Let's do this thing.
Do I need to do that? Is that required? Today's marks the end of the first term. Summer break begins tomorrow. Oh, I can actually talk to her now. Let's go. Wait. Who else can I talk to? I think this is the time.
Hey there.
Looks like we're finally done with exams. That's a load off of our shoulders, huh? We maybe take some time to talk in private. Gooning to Grace Ashcroft is peak, by the way. Better than Ada Wong, low-key. Let's go. Like, you need to stop gooning, bro. What's wrong with you? So, can we go to the rooftop? Yo! Yo! She really likes me like that, for real. She really likes me, for real.
Thanks.
You lucky bad too. I'm gonna save the name for later. Oh man, you're disgusting, bro. All right, let's go then.
Hey, so, never mind. Just forget about it.
Now talk to me, girl.
Saying that only makes you more curious, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Sorry about that. So, you might have forgotten all about this, and it's totally fine if you did. But when we were at Yakushima, I said some stupid things. And I just wanted to say I'm sorry. It's been on my mind this whole time. You know, I always felt like I wanted to just be normal.
You're do-rag.
I wanted to have a family like all the other
A
kids.
little late. It's all good, bro.
Mom and
You're here
Dad to
now.
come
It's all
home
good.
to.
Whoa, what's she, a family to come home to? Or family
Why do we
to-
have to be
What?
different?
What? I wanted to have a family like all the other kids, a mom and dad to come home to. Oh. I'm eating Doritos like a chut. So you're a gooner and a chut today, Skillix. Holy. Your future's not looking bright currently with this current predicament that you're in of chutting out and gooning every day.
Why us? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to lump the two of us together. But I feel
Hey.
like you understand and
We can lump each
have
other
been
together
looking
all
out
we
for
want.
me. At least that's what I think. Is that just wishful thinking? That's how I really feel, though.
Hey, she opened it up to me, baby. Seems the two of us have gotten a little closer. Yes! Eating a burrito like a true chud? What's in the burrito?
Thou art I.
Because burritos can be pretty good. You have a lot of protein in chili.
Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Lover's Arcana.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Lovers. I'm hanging out with her every singular day. Unless Igus starts talking to me nice. Get some freezer burritos, bean. Okay, no, those are bad. Those are processed, handcrafted millions every second to be frozen.
It's getting cold. Let's go home.
Let's hold hands. Try to go back to the dorm. I know, I got a wet throat. I eat them hose dry. Ew, bro. What the heck's wrong with you? Why would you? What the fuck?
Good evening. I'm pleased to see that you're well.
No, diddy. Bro's lubricated.
Your pills.
This is the second time that this clip has happened.
I noticed once again that a new ally has been added to the ranks. Well, I suppose it's more of a pet than an ally.
Makes no difference to me.
Why
It
does she
seems what you
not
told
talk?
us of their intentions is true. How terribly lamentable. Now we have no choice but to intervene.
Yes, Roxas, I agree. She's dappered
It
up.
is up to the
Wait, what do you say?
individual how to use the strength they are.
Stop doing that. Shinjiro Aragaki. No. Somebody else said that. The lady with the red hair. Now we have no choice but to intervene. It is up to the individual how to use the strength they are granted. Facts. Arigato. It's arigaki.
Granted, but to erase the Dark Hour would be denying the very power they possess. And that is the one thing we cannot permit.
Fine. Do whatever you want.
I wish you would try to fight me, bro. I'm strong.
Hold up a sec. What's your role in all this? We know they asked you to come back.
You know, you're really starting to piss me off.
Whoa!
Nosy little shit.
Yeah, come join our ranks.
Yeah? Well, they're going down. You hear me? And if you're on their side, then you're going down too. Got that?
I already told you. I'm done with them.
Olé. But that's not true. Who the heck? My name is Ken Amada. I've been staying here for a while. What am I gonna get out of talking to you, bro? I try not to be a bother, so please don't mind me. Yo, Skillix, did you see the Convergence mod? Like, what did you think? Did you look into that? What did you think? If you did look into that. If you didn't look into that, bro, F you, bro, for real. So mind your own biz. Oh, I can buy. F me then. Bruh, look, you didn't watch that. Bruh, go watch it. It's a new boss. Bro, it's not really an Elden Lord. You're not really an Elden Lord like that, for real. You're really out of stock still. What you talking about? You're not really an Elden Lord, for real. I was busy, bum. There's no way you're busy 24 hours in a day, dude. It's literally impossible. Right before bed, you're on your phone gooning. You can look at the mother freaking ding dongs for 6 minutes.
That reminds me.
Sorry, I don't like
Which
reading.
one?
Let me one of
There's
these.
some new items prepared. Come take a look.
Oh.
So, what will it be?
I mean,
It's been much more pleasant around here recently, and on Port Island in particular. Well, I guess that just shows how much time has passed.
the nameless
You're sure about
cantata.
here, it's all yours.
Oh, that's tough. No, that's actually tough.
What would you like?
Magic Loke +5. Holy.
There's
Wait,
still
that's
so
so
much we
good.
don't know about personas. You'll just have to keep testing different things. You're sure about? Here you go. Thanks
Yeah,
for
I'm
waiting.
sure.
What would you like?
Increases wind damage. Wait, these are actually really good.
Even after turning my hobby into a career,
Bro,
I
can
still
you
find myself
yo,
buried in research. Oh,
I don't
I see.
care.
Here you go. Thanks for waiting. Is that all you need?
What? Keep shopping.
I got my hands on some pretty interesting wares. Feel
I'm
free to
so
look
happy
around.
for you. Okay, I need onyx and topaz.
Go on, look around.
No. Wait. I last way longer than that, buddy. Bruh. Don't match your stroke game with mine. Why would I look at the ding dong for 6 minutes? No. Watch the convergence mod. My stroke game is excellent. No. The convergence mod, bruh. The convergence mod. Bro, please. Please work, bro, please. Please, bro. I'm hitting my flow state. We're getting so much done right now. I got a tab out. And I got a tab back in. And then it works. That is
Everything good?
ridiculous.
Hope to see you soon.
Nah, you're not gonna see me for a little while. Okay, wind bracer, that's a necklace. Magic chess piece, that's going to either me, Mitsuru, or Yakari. Nameless katana's going to me. Got equip. Either. I look up in the sky, asking how why. Well, I can't put that on. Let me paint the view. Hey, my light. And I did it. Hey. I think I'm going to. Hey. Hey. Me that zenith, dancing close between us, dancing like ballerinas on the moon all night long. Painted so vividly by you. Looking pretty good. Big A, how's the virgin life? I'm not a virgin. My stroke games are to find cool looking boss, I guess. Holy. I love the OSC Persona. It's actually phenomenal. Fat. It's like such a vibe, dude.
Sure.
Holy 96 buckaroos. I'm extremely rich, bro. Yeah, dude, he fucks with me.
What are you looking for?
I mean.
Everything look good here? Great.
Equip, okay.
I got some
Kari.
stuff you might find useful.
No.
So feel free to browse. What are you looking for?
No. Armor. No.
What are you looking for? What are you looking for?
No.
Take as long as you need.
Okay, so she has her own set of everything.
As long as you need.
Strength. Do I want to keep her in my lobby, bro? Kinda don't.
What are you looking for? You finished? Be
I'm
seeing
done.
you.
I'm done. Wait, I just bought something. I don't even know what I bought. Nah. I bought a weapon for Junpei, I think. Methinks. I look up in the sky, asking now why. I guess we'll do it. I don't know if this is like really helpful. I don't really care to get Mitsuru as my lover. My line. Sunday. Hey. See if I can hang out with her again. Got a text message. Baby, are you free? Get Donut Walled. Get ghosted. I'm so clean with it. Whoa, what's at the Port Island? What's happening? What's happening over here? Where is it? Where is it? Who the? Okay, I guess we'll give him HP now, bruh. That's good. Okay. So I'm guessing there's something here too? A cat. Where can I buy cat food? Chat, where can I buy cat food?
Marv, I'm looking. Are you accepting a let's hear the
I don't think that was worth it.
I will await a report.
Okay, I need to fulfill more of her request to take her on another date. Interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and hang out, baby. Baby! Oh, we're not gonna level up this? Looks just like a scary elf movie. I want to think about it. Cheer up. Whew. Fuck.
I can do it.
We didn't get any closer. I just wasted my day. Yeah, bro. I'm not live action. I thought sure it would help.
Welcome back.
Come to think of it, have you heard about the B Blue V? It's the shop color mom, but there's a rumor you can talk to. It's a little sketchy. I don't know what the kid shop is. Let's talk about the Velvet Room. So dance. Okay, let's go.
Oh wait, this is a thing now. Not now. I don't need to recall anything. I think this. All right, let's try working here. It's Sunday. I can't even work here. Okay. No, I'm sick. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing for me to do here today. But this is back up. I guess we can just go back to Tartarus. These are kind of useless, I think, now. Vividly by you. Let's go. I think we might as well go back to Tartarus since there's absolutely nothing going on today. And then try to get through that hard room.
Oh, yes.
Got a pimple on the back of my ear. It hurts. Trying to pop it, but it's not popping. Ouch. Okay, I want Mitsuru, Bell. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Everyone, it's time to get to work.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Why does Junpei start with so much? Let's get into it. Bro playing Peak. Come on, Isaiah. You know me. All I do is play Peak. I got amazing taste. I have amazing taste. I have amazing taste. Bam, bam, bam. Last fight.
Powerful enemy spotted. Please.
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
I'm locking in.
Time for a fight.
Holy cowardly maga.
Strong one. Be on your guard.
I think this one was weak to fire before.
Now's the time.
Okay, I don't care if you're focused, bud. That is nothing. Literally nothing. 47 damage, perfect.
Holy crap!
This is your chance.
This will do the trick.
Okay, since this doesn't work, next time I'll try to charm him.
Pull the trigger.
Gorula.
It won't lose.
86. Holy. So maybe try some light damage on him.
It's a strong one. Be on your guard.
Nice.
Can't stop me now.
You don't have much health left. Can you heal up? Can you patch yourself up? The enemy's about to strike. Have fun! Persona!
Come on.
Thanks.
Where are you, favorite?
That's pretty good.
Let's see.
86 damage.
Are you alright? Keep an eye on your health.
Woo! Holy damage!
Jinbei-kun,
hit them
are
where
you
it
alright?
hurts.
Keep an eye on your health.
Go for it.
See if this works.
I missed.
Of course.
The enemy's turn is coming up. Heal now while you still can.
Okay, Junpei may die.
Thank you.
Thanks. That was close. Give him hell.
What to do?
Nothing. Ah.
Jinbei-kun, are you alright? Keep an eye on your health. I'll show you.
You go ahead and do a little less.
What next?
Do a little less. Alright, Junpei, live. Live for me.
Thanks, dude.
That's really good healing.
Sorry to you, everyone. Huh? Leader, say something, please!
I should have reduced its accuracy again. The rig.
Single enemy detected. It's a strong one.
Now it starts concentrated. Okay.
In this situation. Help me,
What's next?
I'll go with.
Come on, baby.
What's the plan here?
I'll show you.
Come on. How does it miss, bro?
Sorry, everyone.
Holy
Multiple
death.
team members are out of position.
Not that,
I owe you one.
Well, isn't that annoying?
What to do?
Okay, we really need some healing on everybody.
You don't have much health left. What's the plan? Can you heal up?
Can't let this go to waste.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
No crits?
Shall I
Ow,
move to strike?
ow.
How about trick?
And then next time we're really gonna start hurting some people.
You've been knocked down. You're hurt. Do you have any healing?
I have to do this.
Some fun.
Holy ridiculousness.
Let's see.
Come on!
Careful, Jinbei-kun. Your defense is low.
You'll pay for that.
Kirija can
What's
place
the
back
plan?
on her feet. Persona.
71 damage.
In this situation,
Okay, lower your accuracy once again.
I'll give him hell.
Crazy how this dude didn't crit this entire time. I gave him a sword that literally makes him crit more often.
Yukari-chan,
Shall I move to
watch out.
strike?
Your defense has fallen.
Go for it! Professor Leia!
Holy.
I have to do this. I won't lose.
I owe you for that.
What's next? Good.
Much obliged.
All right.
I'll go with.
This gots to work. There we freaking go. Get him out of here. Okay, so distress is really good. If I just distress somebody and then crit with my main character, it should be free every time. Oh, lord. Okay.
Oh, hello.
That's good progress. That's good progress. We didn't level up, but we killed one. We'll kill another one next day. Where is Deathlock? I already played Deathlock today. I'll play more Deathlock tomorrow, dude. Tomorrow. Bro, do we not like Persona, bro? Okay, what if I played Elden Ring instead? Thoughts? Oh, they're making me go to track. Nice. You fucks with it? Okay. I'm not there. Was that me in the front?
Hey, no slacking. Put your it. You'll never beat Hayase with that attitude.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome back.
Oh, what is this exclamation marks? What's happening? What's happening? Oh! I'm not gonna lie, I really don't care to hang out with you. But I kind of have a feeling that if I don't hang out with you, then nothing's gonna get done. Like, I won't be able to like hang out with anybody else. Well, I definitely don't need that, so let's just go hang out with him then. Is the game that makes you hang out with high schoolers? Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, after I beat this, our variety game is gonna be the Convergence mod for Elden Ring.
Yes. All right. This time, let's have a nice meal as we talk about our future battles.
Okay.
Or do you not care as long as you're the one who gets to do the fighting?
Our future battles, huh?
What's wrong? They hang out of
It's fine.
flashbacks.
Don't worry about it. First things first. Let's get some food.
Hey, what's going on? Should we call somebody?
There you are, Akihiko Sanada.
Ooh. That's a lot of
Oh,
people.
You're the guys from before.
Turns out you're pretty famous, huh? An up-and-coming boxer, that it?
Time to pick up where we left off. Show me what you got. Kicking your ass is gonna do wonders for our rep. No way we're gonna pass this up.
Champ or not, look at our numbers. You ain't got a chance.
This isn't fair.
Boxers are tough, ain't they? What? You can't handle a challenge?
I hope you got Ricochet for a whole
You're
thing.
welcome to join him, though.
Well, I'm not
Pipsqueak.
fighting, he is.
See? We're reasonable, right?
You said beating me would do wonders for your rep. I thought this was about testing each other's strength.
You idiot. I'm just gonna have fun kicking your ass because you're full of yourself. And who the hell cares about any of that
Flash
as long as you
ult
win?
effect.
Isn't that how you roll too? So, you wanna go first or what?
Get back.
Look out, it's a fire.
You shitting me? Get back here!
Hey! Nobody runs away from us!
Just did.
Running away is easy enough. It's losing them that's the hard part. Still, made for a good workout, right?
Nice little jog.
That was some quick thinking, by the way. Just what I'd expect from our leader.
Not a problem.
I don't exactly like turning my back to an opponent. But it doesn't matter in the end if I can't protect the ones beside me. And being outnumbered increases our risk of injury or damaging our surroundings. What I mean is, you made the right call. I owe you one.
The thing is, he's so scrawny, he
It's
shouldn't be able to
addressed to
win a
me.
fight like that anyways.
Says it contains fruits, snacks, and beverages. Looks like it's from my parents. I'll take it to my room later.
Sure is a lot.
Yeah. It's probably because they think I'm a growing boy and all that. I haven't kept in touch lately since I'm so busy. but I should probably write back and thank them. I appreciate how much they care, but this is a little too generous. Want to take some of it off my hands? And again, you'll hardly make a dent in this either.
Yes! Let's call the other. No, give it to me!
Good idea. Would you mind gathering everyone up?
Bruh.
Oh my, very intriguing. Everything is such high quality. I can tell just by looking. Your parents must really care about you.
At least you know how to behave in front of your parents, Nagihiko.
Don't you ever have anything nice to say about me? My parents have been good to me. I obviously haven't told them
Who's
about
the
what
kid?
we do.
He's just here for the summer. He's the
When it
chairman's.
comes to being considerate of others, you're a heavyweight. Glad to have you
I
in
don't
our
think it's
corner,
his son.
senpai.
I actually don't remember.
There he goes
Oh,
again.
his parents died.
He sure looked good, though. Thanks for sharing, Sonata-senpai.
Take whatever you want.
Hey,
this
Kirija
looks
senpai.
really good.
What's that?
Going for that one, huh? You get that.
You have my thanks. Oh, I see.
That took care of most of it. I'm surprised they were so happy. I've really got to show my gratitude
Black screen.
to my parents and to everyone here. Well, all this talk about my parents reminded me of some things from the past. Like why I'm here right now. I guess I feel like I remember my reason for fighting.
Glad to hear it.
Well, don't mind me. Let's just say I've got a lot of room to grow.
I really feel
The
like
dorm's gotten so
Saikuno
much
played
busier.
these games, bro.
The orphanage used to be something like this too. We all lived under the same roof, just having casual conversations. I'd forgotten what it was like. It
My
wasn't so
feet
bad.
are low.
I remembered after you suggested we share with everyone.
What did you say? I lived under the same roof, just having casual conversations. I've forgotten what it was like, but it wasn't so bad. Let's do it again sometime.
Tell that to my parents. I really gotta repay you in particular, though, or we'll never be squared away. All right, it's pretty late now. I guess we should clean up and call it a night.
There's something mixing here to let her in some sort of handcrafted outfit. We like a gold medal that's made of cardboard.
What? Is there something there? This is...
Is it yours? Because if it's not, I'll take it.
This medal doesn't really belong to anyone. It's...
He
from a
made
long
it
time
for
ago.
himself.
Do you mind if I ask you something? You take on the role of our leader, and you're stronger than anyone else in your own right. That's more than just being talented. Where do you get that strength from?
I train, it's thanks to the bonds I have. I don't do anything. Thanks to the bonds I have. That's
Oh,
such a Saikuno thing to do.
You mean you feel motivated because you have people in your corner? Bonds with others, huh? That might be something I'm missing. Well, whatever it is, you've clearly got something that I don't. But being jealous or trying to copy you isn't gonna help me. That strength is yours alone. I'm going to get stronger, but I'll do it my way.
Double you.
Sorry, we were supposed to be cleaning up. I'll take care of the rest. Things got so busy that I missed out on my chance to thank you again. Hopefully the food was enough for today. I'll invite you out again some other time.
Whoa! Well, I mean, it's not that much. It's not that many items. I would like more items. I think that's appreciate it. My charm. My charm's already up, dude. Give me courage. Give me courage. Dang, I gotta do track every single day.
Oh, it's you.
Welcome back. I'm Mr. Jones on the Rise Again News City. I'm calling database by the media. There will be a serious problem in this. Must reach the last 6 shadows beginning with the month we anticipate. On the next full moon, the number of lost continues to increase. It will fall into chaos. Huh? So in 2 days, we're going to get contacted by that little boy telling us that we got a week. And then we'll probably go to Tartarus and try to complete that whole dungeon. Hurry up before the next boss.
Whatever like is, we gon' flow with
Probably level up and get up before then.
Hey, feeling the fire with the burning desire every day. We inspire, but never expires. But we.
I'll do it. I'll do some courage. Ah, I'm so close. One more level up of courage. We're maxed out. Facts. Another day of training. Let me live. Let me live. Tomorrow I'm gonna have training and I'm gonna get oh, I'm going faster. Hold on.
You're almost there. Keep up the pace. This is our year. Hyacea got nothing on us.
Facts.
Welcome back.
Okay. No Tartarus today. Anything to be done over here? Hello? Oh. Elizabeth got something for me? Nope, she doesn't have anything for me. Wait, where's that? Oh, I'm not doing that. We'll do it. We'll do this one. Could I level up? I want to be a genius. Yep, here it is. Get contacted and tomorrow got more track. I called it. I literally called it, chat.
Sorry to wake you.
Oh.
I'm detecting a shadow. Please come to the 4th floor quickly.
Whoa.
What's going on?
Oh, this one's
There's
early.
a shadow
I had
in
a
the city.
feeling that this would also
Yamagishi
happen.
found it unexpectedly.
What? But the moon isn't full yet.
It seems to be just a regular shadow, but there usually isn't any normal shadow activity outside of Tartarus.
It's near Naganaki Shrine. Akihiko was already in the area, so he went ahead. I'm sure he can handle it alone, but we should be ready just in case.
Gotcha.
Hey?
Yes, this is Yamagishi.
I'm here. Sorry, but I think you guys better come quick.
What's wrong? Are you in trouble?
No. The Shadow's been defeated. Or rather, it was already defeated when I got here.
Ooh!
What
the other,
happened?
those 3 guys with that
This little
red-haired
fella
girl.
took a hit for me. I want to save him if we can.
Took a hit? Who's he talking about?
Don't ask me.
At any rate, let's move out.
Story! Oh, it was a dog.
Koro-chan!
Koro. There's no way this dog has a persona.
Okay, Koro-chan?
There's no way this dog got a
You know
persona.
this dog?
Yeah, everyone around here does. We've got to help him, quick!
First, we need to stop the bleeding.
Man, he's one tough fighter. He defeated that Shadow all by himself.
Wait, does that mean this dog's a persona user?
What the heck?
He says, this is a place of peace, so I protected it. There are flowers over there. Those flowers, they must be for the priest who died in the accident here.
So he really was guarding this place.
Dang. This is interesting.
Okay, hold on. Igus, don't tell me you can translate dog language too.
Canines do not have their own language. However, speech is not the only means of communication.
This fellow really is a rare breed.
Correct.
He's not the only one.
All right, let's report to the chairman so we can conclude this mission. As for Yvette, it's midnight, but I think I can arrange something.
Good job, boy. You're one amazing dog.
Okay, tomorrow we're actually gonna get the Dark Hour. You got 7 days before it's time. Practice. I'm even faster now. Watch. I'm even faster now. Watch.
Wow, that was a great lap.
Come on now.
Keep it up. You might be able to win the whole thing.
Come on now. Don't play at me. Just a couple more days.
Welcome back.
Anything new? So tense. Nope. Tartarus. We going to Tartarus. No. So dance. Okay, we got the first monster done.
Let's move out.
Get
Everyone
some more
stay
of them
alert.
done. I wonder if it's gonna teleport me to right where the boss was. Furthest point. Oh, this is so good. How convenient. Holy chests.
Nicely done. Thank you.
Freeze boost. Nice, nice. It doesn't look that much better. Memoir. Even shadows have unique traits. The more hostile ones display great strength. They can't be controlled in our current facilities. We developed a Cathedral of Time to avoid disposal of such unique specimens. That's what this is supposed to be called? Cathedral of Time. Yeah, I think I'm good off of this outfit. Is there any more here? No, that's it. Let's keep moving. Okay, so we're gonna get a weapon for everybody going down this way. These ways, I'm pretty sure. Oh, hello. Oh, hello.
Powerful enemy spotted.
I'm ready.
All right.
There are 3 in our way. They look tough. I have to do this. In this situation, I won't lose.
You just missed a bunch of your stuff, please.
Right one.
Great dodge, Junpei-kun.
Can't stop me now.
Anything block and resist. So that means this dude's weak to ice. Or at least he should be.
I'm ready.
My Brooklyn. Wait, you're resistant to both of those? Okay.
Go with.
Come on. Resistant to that too. Okay.
What's next?
Very freaking funny, bro.
I have to do this.
You played Deadlock before? Yeah, I played Deadlock earlier today. Just heal everybody up. Keep everybody up.
Thank you.
No, I was there. Why'd you say that? Oh, that's good.
Great dodge, Junpei-kun.
Give him hell.
I'm just gonna hurt this little dude right here. I wanted to know. That doesn't make sense. Holy.
I'll hit them where it hurts.
I'll show you.
The enemy's frozen.
What to do?
Now's your chance.
Go for them.
That's an enemy down.
You're on a roll. I can handle it.
Hey, it's me.
Okay. Hit him, Junpei.
What's next?
And you're weak.
Your weakness. You did it, Junpei-kun. Pull the trigger.
There's Sona.
Hopefully, I don't know if it's been 3 turns or not yet. Ah, perfect. You're useless. Of course that missed.
Seriously? Yukari-chan's down. She's in trouble.
Woo!
You dodged it.
I'm ready.
That's our leader.
No, 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 no.
Persona.
49 damage.
Come, Persona.
That's an enemy down.
Come on, I'll show him.
It's all you.
Got it. What's the plan? Suck on that. Here we go.
Get him out of here.
Keep it up, Junpei-kun. I have to do this.
Can we heal everybody? Junpei may still die though.
Much obliged.
But we have the revive, which is good. Holy!
It's a strong one. Be on your guard. Okay, here's what I found.
Let's see.
Still? Okay, you just have attack up. We gotta use fire on this guy. I don't like this. Actually, we'll just use an item. Actually, we'll just give everybody some HP.
Not that,
That helps.
Goodness.
Resist.
What's the plan here? It have no effect?
Ay, ay, ay.
What to do?
Is that gonna work? Fuck, he still has that?
Pull the trigger.
Maybe I should have healed instead. But whatever. Hopefully he missed it a little bit. Yes!
Nice reflexes, Yukari-chan.
What's the plan?
Can I scan on this enemy?
Go ahead and scan him.
Okay.
Oh,
Here's what I found.
Let's knock this out of the park. Can't let this go to waste.
This is actually really annoying.
This will do the trick. Go for it! Professor Leia! No!
Nice!
Only 2 left. You've got this.
Go with.
Only 2 left,
Never mind.
I've already scanned this one.
Let me heal myself so that she can use her ability.
I have to do this. All right. Here I go.
Oh, this is good.
And with this,
Please die. Dicker.
enemy defeated. You're doing great, Yukari-chan. I've already scanned this one.
Time to shout. Like this.
Jinbei-kun's in bad shape.
Let's go!
Okay, let's finally do some damage for you.
Take that! One last touch!
Doing negative damage, by the way. 99 damage in total.
Jinbei-kun, are you alright? Keep an eye on your health.
What to do?
I'm the healers.
Thanks, dude.
Pull the trigger.
You're not gonna be null to win. And now I'm about to hurt you for real.
How dare you! Yukari-chan's down. She's in trouble.
To you now.
It can't be. Kiryu-senpai.
Not that. I'll go with. Never mind. Here we go.
Ridiculous.
I owe you for that.
It's payback time. In this situation, pull the trigger. Eo!
What's next? Now's my chance.
We're just gonna keep healing each other. Y'all, you wanna do all this damage?
Yukari-chan's down. She's in trouble. Not like this. No, Yukari-chan. It's a strong one.
What's
Be
the
on
plan?
your guard.
Shall I move to strike?
How about
Wait, let's see if this works.
It has no effect?
And you block off. Okay.
What to do?
Lean on.
Thank you.
Can I do anything? Can I do any damage attack yet? Okay, we're good. Oh man, that's what I needed this entire time. That's what I wanted to see. Now she's not gonna level up.
Be gone! Just kidding.
Oh, hello.
That reminds me.
Okay, can we like go ahead and heal? Hey. Come on.
Oh, hello.
Saves us some trouble. We are in a rather irregular. I wonder if that's a special feature of this place. Not detecting any danger, so please check what's inside. Wait, that's good.
Uh-huh.
Wait, dead end? We just said it's a dead end, so that means there's nothing else here. Well, that's pretty good. I guess that was the end of it, though. Just go ahead and get out of here. Let's go ahead and get. We leveled up from that as well, which is good. So now we can save the game and leave. Save the game and leave. One more level, then we can get King Frost.
Oh, hello.
You have 7 more days.
Good evening.
Oh, my bad.
Things are really starting to liven up around here. So, how are you getting along with everyone?
Who cares? Holy.
Oh, that's good to hear. Just to remind you, the next full moon will be in 1 week. Are you ready? I actually haven't been too worried about you lately, but you should still be careful. I'll see you again.
As long as you're not worried, I'm not worried. People with blue eyes just look at you like that, dog.
Yeah, it's actually really weird, people with blue eyes. But I actually am attracted to girls with blue eyes. Is that weird? Like, I'm actually attracted to girls with blue eyes. But, like, they be giving you that death stare. The day after tomorrow, in 2 days. Crazy because I got blue eyes. Let me see them.
Oh, welcome back.
Show them. There's like not a whole lot going on. They're closed right now. I can't. Holy. Holy. Courage, baby. Get hyper. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. No. We'll get there. We'll get there. We will literally get there. Last day of training, baby, and then tomorrow's the big day. And then I'm gonna have 4 days to like do more throughout the day. Train all day to prepare for the competition August 2nd.
Stay focused, everyone. Tomorrow's the big day. Whoa, you're doing great. That's the fastest time on the team. Good luck tomorrow. You got this.
Let's see what I can do. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
I see you're back.
Gotta get my endurance training up, I guess. So dance, if you wanna go ahead. Freedom to do whatever, I'm chilling. So mind your own biz. Cause I mind my own bills. Let's do it. That's gotta be a level up, right? Come on! Okay, we got big track dated R today. If you wanna go ahead. About time to leave. It's that day. Do we beat him? Come on.
Attention! Time is upon us to demonstrate outstanding sportsmanship. May the best runner win.
The freaking ear. Okay, I think I popped.
Hey, you're almost up.
How are you feeling? Think you got this?
Definitely got this.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. Since this is your first time, let me give you some advice. All you have to do is give it your all. Remember, mind over matter. And the biggest enemy out there is yourself.
Facts!
All right, dude. Go show them what you're made of.
I got this. Let's go! I did it!
That was amazing! I can't believe it's your first time competing. On top of that, this was your fastest time yet.
Man, you killed it! Looks like all your hard work paid off.
Crazy that I'm taller than these guys, but like I'm
Even
the
with your
shortest.
incredible
One of
performance,
the shortest people in my
that guy
group.
still won.
You mean Hayase, right? They say he blows everyone out of the water in every competition. I thought people were exaggerating. Jeez, he's insane. Could sure use someone like him on our team. Ah, damn it! We'll get him next time for sure.
Hey, wait. Isn't that him?
Yo, you were pretty fast.
I've been training.
Must have been some training. Hey, I know this is weird all of a sudden, but would you want to hang out sometime?
Sure, I don't mind.
Cool, sounds good. You still need to work on your technique, but I feel like you've got potential. Maybe you could help push me to test my limits. I usually grab a bite to eat at the strip mall in Iwatodai after school. Stop by sometime if you feel like it. The name's Mamoru Hayase. Well, I'll see you around.
Alright, bro.
Wow. Hayase must really see you as a worthy rival.
If you see him again, tell him this. Next time I'll kick your ass! You got that?
I'll tell him.
By the way, wasn't that Mimura guy from Third High supposed to be pretty good too? He never showed.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the guys from his school. Apparently they couldn't get a hold of him. They even went out to check his house, but he wasn't there.
He did. He ran
So
away.
he's gone missing. Did he run away from home? Maybe he was afraid of going up against Hayase. Or wait, do you think it's because of that apathy syndrome thing?
Yeah, it could also be
No
that.
idea.
Either he ran away or that.
Hope he shows up again soon in one piece.
Yeah. Anyway, now's not the time to get down in the dumps. Our school did great today, after all. Good job out there.
All right, let's get out of here.
We did good, but not good enough. But now I can be friends with Hayase, which might give me something.
Oh, it's you. Welcome back.
Back. No, big. Too bad I didn't win.
No.
Regardless, I'm impressed with your ability to balance so many aspects of your life. Yeah, I'm life maxing. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah. And I got my girlfriend here. Amazing. You should give yourself some more credit. If nothing else, you're at least doing something like someone else I know.
Thanks, I guess.
Ooh, sticks and bones can break my bones, whatever. Anyways, it's almost a full moon, right? That's something I can do. The mission, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next full moon in August 6th. That's Thursday. Likely that the enemy will be stronger than the last ones. Make sure you're ready. I probably could go to Tartarus. Get one more level up. I don't know if I could actually level up one more time. I don't know how likely I am to level up one more time. All right, let's see. Maybe we can get some. Oh, they won't let me go to Tartarus today. Okay, well, I didn't want to go anyways. Let me study then, I guess. Not giving me a whole lot of options here. No Tartarus. No connections at night. Just study. And we got 3 days left. But I don't have track anymore, so I could probably do a lot more throughout the day.
Good morning. This is Elizabeth.
Hey, Elizabeth.
I am calling to inform you that more humans have wandered into Tartarus. 2 this time, I believe. Please swiftly and safely conduct a search and rescue. Goodbye now.
Goodbye now. So dance, if you want to go ahead. Summer vacation, oh. We have a new burger. I don't care about your burger. I didn't sign up to be notified about your burgers. Don't need that. Hey, girl.
Here are my wonderful.
Yes. A black sword.
Very well.
And then we got the cat at the other place, but I don't know how to like handle that. So. Maybe we eat the burger today for courage. Aha! Burger! Well, that gave me 2. Yeah, there. Now I can talk to Fuka as well, but I'm really gonna be focusing on Takebe, but I haven't been able to talk to her since it's summertime, I guess. I can only talk to her after class. That's lame.
Welcome back.
Let's see if there's anything we can do here. In preparation
Marvelous. I'm looking for. I can
Where's
sense
that
a presence.
Super Mini emo? Ed Dog? It's Thanos. It's a 7 TV emo. 78 and 81.
Very well.
Everyone, it's time to get to work.
I gotta make sure that there actually isn't anything for me to do. I gotta make sure. Okay, it actually was a dead end. Completely. Now I gotta run all the way back. Jinx, flap it, whatever. It's not gonna take that long. It ain't gonna take that long. I thought it was gonna be a lot further. That was not that long of a boss run. There'll probably be longer ones though, but that one's only 2. So that gives me an idea for the future ones that I can expect them to be about between the 2 and like 5 bosses in this type of area. Not too bad, not too bad. On 79.
They have to get stronger too. They have to be a better support for the team.
Heck yeah.
We're doing
One
well.
more floor.
Let's keep up the pace.
One more
Now
floor,
that
and
those
there should
giant
be a
faces on the walls are gone, it's not as scary, is it?
Yeah, I guess so. I kind of miss them. Yeah, just a little.
Just a little bit.
Oh, stairs!
There you are, you goober. How do you even make it this far in the freaking dungeon? Because I'm a fat ugly chud because I don't see it. In
All right,
7
let's
TV,
get
type Thanos in all caps.
There's a lot going on, even in my personal life. Is that a missing person?
You did bait me. I knew you wanted to type it.
Yes.
I actually don't want to get more people, bro, if there are more people. This is so boring. That part is boring. Really just want to level up. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. We got the next boss. It's going to be pretty nice. Oh, hangout time, hangout time. So dance. Ooh, guess who's bored? Okay, well, let's see what else there is to do. The Big Meat. What's up, Reeferoo? How you doing, bro? How you feeling, bro? You got a big meat too? Or is it just me? Is it just me for real? I can't be the only one. Ramen is good for my skin. Are we serious?
Hey!
I don't want to go to her place. Wakatsu! Are you hungry? Yeah. Thank you for the like on TikTok. Yo, Big A, do you have any mods? What do you mean by that? Like that are in the chat? All my mods don't like any of the games I play. Oh, wait! I'm not that hungry though. Alright, sure, why not? I feel like I'm getting a little hungry anyways. What? Like Twitch chat mods? I do have mods, but they just don't come because they were modding whenever I was playing other games. It's very hard to like maintain mods because mods and people in general only care about a specific game, you know what I'm saying? So like Skillix is a mod, he was here earlier, but he doesn't care about this game and he doesn't care about Deadlock that much. So all he cares about is gooning at his age. Feels like we're dating. Nah, you did that on purpose. It's too bad I don't like you, bro. Somebody else has my heart. Probably because you have negative money, so you can't pay them to stay. Well, I don't want to pay people to watch me. I want people to actually enjoy the streams. You feel me? So dance. If you want to go ahead. I have no desire to save that person. No, whoa. My courage is already maxed out, so I don't need to do that either, actually. Okay, you know what? F it. Let's talk to this dude. Emotional campaign I'm running. Oh, you're still nice. That would mean perhaps if I trained him. Say, young man, how would you like to have all your dreams come true? Well, we have a golden opportunity for you. Tell me more. So. Man! 20,000 yen? No! Yeah, bro, get out of here, bro. I'm not giving you my freaking hard-earned dollars. What a goofer, bro. Can we open? No. No. What's between us? Dancing like Valerie. Yo, I'm going inside. Nigga, money touch me.
Welcome.
You're too busy. Are you also too busy? Hey! Let me buy all of this. I'm about to learn me some stuff. I'm about to learn me some stuff. For you to talk to me. Yeah. Lessons in etiquette. Mine. Never mind. Yeah, we can do this one.
So dance. If you wanna go ahead,
Academics, my speaking skills. Heck yeah, WT code. Okay, one more day and then boss fight time. Finally. And then on the 8th we can talk to the Sun Confidant, I think. Maybe. Do I hang out with this dude? I could hang out with this dude. Okay, let's go try hang out with this couple, maybe. Oh, I could hang out with you. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Hmm? Hey, eat up. Slowing down. Is that all you've got?
You want to see what I've got? No, no, no. No, no. Stop. No, bro. No. Hop on deadlock. No!
That's the forbidden burning tongue technique. And I'll do it too.
The forbidden burning tongue.
Go! Ow!
How are you able to talk while eating, man? What's up, Dario? I'm gonna play Deadlock today, tomorrow.
Whew. Oh, looks like it's a tie. Not many people can keep up with me. I'm impressed.
I expected to lose, actually.
Same here. I didn't think I'd win that one. Ooh. You had a lot of guts challenging me at Takoyaki, though. I respect that. I knew you had potential when I met you.
Let's go!
I am thou.
Thou art I.
Thou hast established a new bond. Thou shalt have our blessing when thou choosest to create a persona of the Star Arcana.
Star Arcana. Let's go. I don't know if this is a really good persona or not, but I kind of.
The way I see it, tie's no better than a loss. I'll do like I promised and run 100 laps around the city. You do whatever you think is best. Heck of a fight today. See you around.
See you, buddy. Yo, what is that emote, Dario? That's actually funny. I can't do it like that. Tomorrow's the big day.
Welcome back.
Yup.
Yeah.
Like always. If you wanna go ahead, hey. What? Hey. Oh, wait, I can read more stuff at the only thing I care about now is academics. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Da 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 da. Level 5? No. I think like 2 more times. I can feel it. 2 more? 2 or 3 more times of doing that level of academics. Here we go. Today's a big day. Today's the big day. Conserve my energy. Wow. Literally just went straight to the nighttime. Alright, well, let's go. Show me something.
Well, here we are. A full moon once again.
Here we go. Lock in, boys.
Any luck, Yamagishi?
Yes, I can sense it. There's a shadow reading tonight, as expected.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's located by the deserted houses in the northern part of Iwatodai, but there's something strange. The reading is coming from underground. Almost 10 meters.
Maybe it's in some kind of basement?
According to the records for the Northern Harbor, there are no structures that match that criteria. However, there once was an underground facility used by the military.
The military? Is that true?
Well, the architectural and geographical data for the
I
area
haven't
was
seen that
uploaded
email in a
into her
minute.
memory. Then again, the information hasn't been updated in 10 years.
Correct. The data is 10 years old.
Shouldn't someone fix that?
So how exactly do we proceed?
We go underground?
We won't know more until we actually get there.
Old relics of war. It seems the situation is still unclear at this time. With that in mind, we'll wait until we arrive before we decide who should be deployed.
Medge. I love the Medges and.
All right, let's go.
Dude, you're messing up my flow. TikTok. Utah Northern Harbor underground facility entrance.
I didn't know there was a place like this so close by.
Target should be around here somewhere.
Oh, well done.
Okay, the dude with the red coat's gonna join in.
It's so nice to finally meet you in person. My name is Takaya. This is Jin.
Takaya.
We are known to some as Strega. Now then, we've been keeping an eye on your activities for some time.
Okay.
From what we hear, you've undertaken a righteous battle to save the world. Unfortunately, we've come here tonight to put an end to that.
He sure does.
What did you say?
You ain't ending nothing.
You've gained many new allies in such a short time. No doubt because this land crawls with sin. Ah, Tartarus is towering as beautifully as always.
You know about Tartarus?
You know...
Wait, why the hell would you want to stop us?
It ain't rocket science. If shadows in the dark hour disappear, we could lose our power. And that's not something we can abide by. Get it?
Power? Are you saying you're Persona users too?
I implore you to think more carefully. Do you really want to lose your abilities? Not just anyone can wield the power of a persona. The Dark Hour is a frontier that is ours alone to explore. And the same goes for the Tower of Demise.
There's another tower?
That's your reason for stopping us? Then you're the ones who need to think. Who
Or are
knows
you
what
talking
might
about
happen if we
Tartarus?
don't do something?
A catastrophe brought on by the shadows. What difference does it make, really? Disasters will always exist. And humans will always destroy each other, regardless of what the shadows do. Either way, no one can predict what misfortunes will befall who.
Also, guys, you guys
But
like to
more
chat?
Importantly, it's time you accepted the truth.
Wait, where'd the redheaded girl? Oh, so you guys like the chat being right there, or would you guys like it up in the corner again? Which one is better? I haven't really asked you guys about that.
Surely you will acknowledge the sense of fulfillment the Dark Hour has given you.
You're wrong.
Yeah, you think I like this?
Why is his glove so small?
Is it not so? How about the rest of you? Do you also wish to return to your pathetic ordinary lives?
Yeah. I do.
I don't enjoy this at all.
Whatever. You all got your own selfish reasons for fighting. That so-called justice of yours ain't nothing but an excuse. There's nothing righteous about any of you. You're all just hypocrites. Like hell you chumps are gonna stop us.
You're
What
just
did you
using
say?
words, bruh. You're just saying things. Oh, y'all just came to talk our ears off? Get out of here, dude.
Have fun in there.
Damn it! They locked us in.
There is no need to panic. Instead of wasting resources, I recommend we prioritize the shadow first.
All right, Aegis.
Right. If we freak out, then we're just giving them what they want.
Shadow's moving. I think it's noticed us.
All right, let's focus on our original goal. We can look for a way out after we've won. Go ahead and select your team. Everyone, prepare for battle.
Can I say the game first?
Leader.
There was a slight accident, but let's focus on mission for now. I feel the target presence from beyond that door. Once you're ready, we can go. Save the game!
We're 33 hours into our game, which means we're probably like halfway through the game, to be honest. I would like... The team that I currently have, I think, is good.
Excuse me.
Get me True out of here, bro. Let's go.
I sense the target 2 blocks ahead of you. It seems to be moving slowly downward. Don't let it get away.
Go, 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 go.
It seems this facility was in use during wartime.
This place. It seems it was some kind of armory during the war.
These tread marks, they're new. I wonder.
Hey, alert, everyone. Why did she not stop it? Run a test. Revival beats. Oh, we about to die. What are all these documents? In the hopes that this message will reach my loved ones, I have sealed the journal for its protection. We few survivors have ensured the completion of our goal. So many of our cohorts will never know our success. I pray their spirits find rest in the wake of this turmoil. To my mother, my wife, and my children, please do not think that I have abandoned you. If securing your futures means giving my life, then I will have done so happily. Honor my memory by living. Move!
Those two just now... No, worry about that later. The shadow comes first.
Yeah, the shadow first.
The target's gaining speed. It's continuing down the tunnel. Hurry and chase it down.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. There's no time limit, so I'm not actually gonna, like, really hurry.
The target stopped. It turned around.
Yes! It turned around. I should have listened to what you had to say. Move!
The target's up ahead. Are you ready?
I'm ready! Lock in.
This is the source of the tread marks? It looks like the shadow is using the Tangus armor. Get ready, everyone. Here it comes.
Okay, we gotta break the armor.
Its arcana is justice. No, wait. It's chariot? What? I only see one enemy, but I'm sensing 2 of them. I've never seen a shadow like this before.
So because there's 2 of them,
I'm still setting up. It'll take a little more time.
chariot and a other thing. Oh, we really about to get in there.
Now's the time. I won't lose.
Reduction in accuracy. Yeah, you're doing nothing.
What's the plan?
Shoot him! Resistant to that? Okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay, well, I got a whole bunch of just things that you're probably resistant to.
Okay, I shouldn't be playing with her then. Holy critical.
I'll go with
Critical! I had a critical and I could.
Yes. In this situation. Ew!
Bruh.
Thanks. Did you miss me? I'll give him hell.
Should I scan on this enemy?
Scan him.
I see. So this is what we're up against.
It's resistant to literally everything. Are we freaking serious? Bruh.
Activating. Persona, engage.
The heck?
Never mind. Who's next?
Wait, there was another enemy that just came out.
I'll go with.
What the hell? The heck was that? $31 magic. But the crit doesn't even matter. 43.
I have to do this.
Can't stop me now. Let's go.
My G. I think I can use it now.
Alright, show me something.
Summoning.
I think something's gonna happen, so let me just heal everybody first.
This will be effective.
Holy. Let's just do this, I guess. So the likelihood of him actually hitting us is lower.
That was close.
In this situation. What next? Help me.
Okay, now my wind's actually gonna hurt, I think. Yeah, dude. Feel the wrath.
My time to shine.
Come on, Junpei, hurt him. That was no damage.
No way. It split into two. I see now. The turret is Justice, and the larger one is Chariot.
Okay.
The smaller one seems to have less stamina. Now we can defeat them individually. Should I scan on this enemy?
Oh, so now we
Should
okay.
I scan on this enemy? I see. So this is what we're up against.
Nice.
Releasing all limiters.
That means the other one's probably weak to all the spells. Probably. Holy damage. Woo! W miss.
What to do?
Should I scan on this enemy?
my gosh!
Should I scan on this enemy?
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Okay, here's what I found. In this situation,
Okay, well I wasted my wind negation thing. One.
What's the plan?
I've already scanned this one.
Give him hell.
No damage.
Persona! What? It revived it? It looks like both enemies can revive one another. You're going to have to defeat them at the same time.
Okay. Oh, no, you're bad.
Pull the trigger.
Help me.
Let's see. Let's go.
You're just gonna keep wasting your turn to revive them, and I'm completely okay with that.
Tank's armor. It seems to me much harder than any shadow so far.
Bruh.
If only we could sever their link with a stronger attack.
Well, looks like we got our third G. Which means what we should probably do.
I'll go with.
Is there a way that I can buff my entire team with not just a crit? Okay, this should do some good damage here.
Let's end this.
Come on, baby!
Just one more. Take that.
They've separated again, but our damage is split equally between them.
Persona, engage.
Come on, hurt them! Okay, now she's hurt.
Cooldown sequence in
That's okay,
progress.
he's just gonna keep restoring them, that's fine. Come on!
In this situation,
Maybe I should have saved this whenever they go back together, because they're probably gonna go back together again. I mean, maybe not. We'll see how much HP he has left. Oh, we got them both. That's pretty easy. Holy! Level 34. That was pretty easy. Vacuum slice. Well, I leveled up twice from that over there. Okay. Okay,
My
okay.
persona has gained a new power.
Ooh, a heal! Now she can heal one person. Okay, that wasn't too hard.
Yes, I'm here.
No, I have 5 more.
Mrs. Mitsuru, We've neutralized the target.
Ah, good work. Come on back.
Is there gonna be another one? Because that
Actually,
was really easy.
there's been a complication. We ran into some interference during the mission. It seems they were Persona users.
Persona users?
Yes, more than one. They appeared during the dark hour and seemed to know who we were.
Did they say anything that might give us a hint to who they are?
Now that you mention it, I believe they called themselves
Strega.
Strega?
What does that mean in English? Why would you make your name
All
that?
right. I'll see what I can find out.
Thank you.
Interesting pause. I feel like there's
There's
something about this guy
one
now
other thing I have
that
to
we're
report.
gonna have to figure out about.
We unfortunately fell into Strega's trap, so we're locked inside the facility.
Ah, I see. Since the threat has been eliminated, I'll send someone over as soon as I can.
I'm sorry for the trouble. We'll be waiting.
Other Persona users.
Unexpected enemy as mirrors, they seem to be Persona users as well, but we still succeeded in defeating the shadows this month. Okay, the problem with this game is that like you get cutscenes without them there, so you already knew these guys were bad. So like this information isn't even crazy. Like it's just like, oh, now they met each other, but we've seen the other point of view of them talking already. It would have been better if we met them out of nowhere and then we got flashbacks of them talking about us throughout the days or something. That would have been better. But in Persona 5, they did a better job of storytelling. Yo, this game is not better than Persona 5. Facts. Okay, well, we leveled up. We can now get to King Frost. Bro, the bosses are really easy. That's upsetting. Now to my disturbing news, a missing resident was found with happened. The victim displayed no signs of external comment. Police have moved out to Did you run 100 laps? By the station. So 10. If you wanna go ahead, hey. Hey. Okay, well I think this is a good stopping spot. We just defeated a big boss. We defeated a big boss. We only got 5 more. Doodad. And yeah, I think this game is good. This is like a chill little vibe. Now play Deadline. But it's not as good as Persona 5. I'm gonna keep saying that until something crazy happens in this game, but this game is older, so I'm expecting it to not be as good, which, as of right now, 33 hours in, it's not. But thank you guys for hanging out. It's been real, and it's been fun, but it has been real fun. To the next one. It's not as good as Metaphor, just wait. Okay, y'all think this game is actually better? Y'all think this game's actually better? You know, Park and Harbor also said that Persona 3 was better than Persona 5, but Persona 3 was the first Persona game that she ever played. You're still fairly early on. What percentage of the way through the game would you say I am? So dance if you want to